Welcome back, aspirants, to another high-yield explainer right here on the Rungta IAS Academy channel. I'm Sir, and joined with me today, as always, is Ma'am. We're dissecting a highly critical topic for your GS Paper 3 syllabus today, India's macroeconomic report card for April 2026. Hello, everyone. Let's dive straight into it, shall we? This April 2026 export data is absolutely crucial for your upcoming mains. We're going to break this down structurally so you can fetch maximum marks in the exam hall.
To get us into the right analytical mindset, here's our mains question of the day. Evaluate India's export resilience in the face of global trade disruptions. Keep this exact framework in the back of your mind as we navigate through the data. By the end of this explainer, you should be able to pen down a solid 250-word answer. And to tackle that question, we look straight at the macroeconomic report card. What this brilliantly illustrates is that despite some serious global crises going on, India's export performance has been highly commendable. The strategic attempts by both the government and the industry to diversify are genuinely bearing fruit. Exactly. And here is your core data point for the introduction. In April 2026, merchandise exports grew by nearly 14%, reaching a massive $43.6 billion. Now, as the Commerce Secretary rightly acknowledged, we have to be objective here. Some of this is simply due to an overall rise in global prices, but still, the sheer growth is undeniable. Right, but we must look at the deeper layer of analysis to get those extra marks. To test the true structural strength of our export growth, we have to strip away those inflated petroleum prices. And you know what? Even then, our non-oil exports still grew by 9%, hitting about $40 billion. That shows real underlying strength. So moving right into body paragraph 1, India's diversification strategy. Ma'am, aspirants, definitely jot these specific metrics down for your answers. The key driver of this resilience is the sheer increase in the number of markets we are serving. Government data shows at least 20 exporting sectors have added 17 or more new destinations in just the last year. Take handloom products, for instance. They reached 29 more countries than they did in 2024-25. Now, while the initial volume of these goods might be small, establishing these trade pathways is vital progress for future scale.
And it's not just the new markets. Our core competencies are holding incredibly strong. Look at resilient sectors like engineering goods, petroleum products, electronics, drugs and pharmaceuticals, and chemicals. All of these exported more this April than the same month last year. This is the perfect proof that our existing supply chains are resilient, perfectly complementing those newly established trade routes.
But remember, an excellent GS3 answer must be balanced. Let's move to body paragraph 2, headwinds and economic challenges. You simply cannot ignore the macroeconomic headwinds dragging the overall numbers down. The most prominent challenge right now is the West Asia crisis, and the impact is crystal clear in the data. Just contrast our overall non-oil growth of 9% with this massive 28% fall in exports to West Asia this April. Imports from the region also fell by about 32%. This is a vital trade link for us, and honestly, our gains elsewhere aren't quite enough to completely outweigh these regional losses just yet. That brings us to how markets react to geopolitical instability. Notice this staggering 82% jump in the import of gold during April. It's human nature. In times of crisis, gold acts as a traditional safe haven asset. And this right here is classic GS3 applied economics. It brilliantly illustrates the connection between raw data and immediate policy action. This massive surge in gold imports is exactly what prompted the Prime Minister to urge citizens to halt gold purchases, leading the government to strategically hike the import duty to protect our foreign exchange reserves. Now, shifting gears to a structural shift, the services sector. This is perfect for adding depth to your analysis. The services sector's share in our total exports has risen dramatically over the last decade, from 39% back in 2014 to a commanding 49% currently. It really highlights India's transition to a much more service-oriented export economy. Ma'am, however, the source text comes with a strict warning that you absolutely must include in your evaluation. This 49% share is no reason for complacency. The government has to take serious note of the rapid rise of artificial intelligence. Any loss of competitive edge in our IT services due to AI will be an incredibly costly blow to India's overall export health. Okay, let's tie all of this together. Conclusion, the way forward. You can wrap up your mains answer perfectly with these actionable solutions. First, acknowledge the wins. The government's push for diversification and sealing trade deals is definitely working. Notably, merchandise export growth at 14% actually outpaced our import growth, which stood at 9.9%. But the crucial next step for India to become a true global contender? We must aggressively improve our export competitiveness across 3 non-negotiable areas: cost, scale, and quality.
Spot on. And before we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought, specially tailored for your personality test preparation. With the rapid rise of AI, how must India's IT sector structurally evolve to protect its 49% export share? Think deeply about this one. Formulate your arguments. Until next time, keep analyzing and keep learning.